Travis, today we're going to dive into one of the most misunderstood dynamics in American government. It's a big,
There's many.
There's a big statement, isn't it? The relationship between the Federal Reserve and the President of the United States.
Obviously a hot topic right now, Steve, especially when inflation's running high and interest rates are moving wildly at times here. You know, the question people want to answer is, can the president tell the Fed what to do, or can the president even fire the chairman of the Federal Reserve?
Yeah, Travis, that's been asked of us a lot lately.
Yeah.
And the short answer to that is no, okay? And that's by design. The Federal Reserve needs its independence, okay? Mm-hmm. And it was set up that way back in 1913 to insulate the monetary policy from the political pressures that obviously would be put on it.
Sure.
The Fed's main job is to manage inflation, manage employment, and manage interest rates. And while the president appoints the Fed chair, currently this is Jerome Powell, that's pretty much where that control ends, though. The chair serves the 4-year term, but the Fed doesn't answer to the president day to day. It reports to the Congress. That's where accountability lies. Still, the presidents try to often influence the Federal Reserve, and we've seen this with Trump. We saw it in the past with Nixon. But the Fed's credibility really depends on staying above that political fray. That's why we're such a powerful country.
Yeah, and because if markets think the Fed is just a political tool here, Steve, obviously you're going to lose trust, right, in what they're doing. And that trust is everything when it comes to managing an economy. So while the president can talk, tweet, and complain about interest rates,
he does that.
This one does quite a bit. The Fed's job is just, stick to the data. We're going to look at the data and not the politics, and that's what keeps the system balanced, as you were pointing out here. So
for sure,
yeah. Bottom line here, when you're watching the news, is while the president may have opinions on the Federal Reserve, it runs on data.
It does.
Right? At the end of the day, Powell, he says it at every press conference, I'm going to look at the data, not the directives from the president. And that separation of powers is critical. It's what gives the Fed credibility in the eyes of the markets and the global economy, which is so important for people making investments in the United States, right? That stability. So,
for sure.
But if he was just taking orders from the White House, I mean, things would spiral out of control pretty fast. I mean, think about runaway inflation, politically timed rate cuts. Hey, I'm going into an election. Oh, rates are down. We're gonna try to stimulate the economy. That's why independence matters so much here. It's not about ego. I mean, it's about stability. Us being the rock for the global economy, right?
Yeah, the currency of choice, for sure. And the relationship obviously can get tense. Okay, we've seen that. But tension doesn't mean dysfunction.
No.
This is all by design.
Yeah.
It keeps economic policy from becoming another political football, like we've seen with other areas over many decades. If you're curious how this power dynamic might impact your investments or your business, just reach out. We can help you navigate this unknown environment that we've been experiencing here lately.
It's really all investing is dealing with a series of unknowns, right?
Yeah,
and trying to come up with a plan and sticking to it through all the unknowns, and that's where the success generally lies. So
that's so true, Travis. It's been great. I look forward to it next week.
Look forward to it as well.